Hey, it's a Monday.
A Monday. A Monday. Monday's a special day because that's the start. Well, for some people, it's a Sunday. For some, it's a Monday.
Some it's Tuesday.
Some it's a Tuesday. That's true. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'd be careful though, because you say it's a Monday, and that has a negative connotation to it.
Really? How do you mean? Tell me.
Well, a lot of people out there in the working force, they think it's Mondays are bad, and I've heard my wife even say that. Oh, it's a Monday, just meaning we expect bad things to happen on Monday. So it's how you say things and how you present things.
That's right. That's
so
right.
It's like it's not. It's a Monday. It's a Monday.
True. Or words. It's Monday. See what I did right there?
Taking out that one letter. That's interesting. It's Monday instead of it's a Monday.
We say letter or word? Well, letter.
Yeah, that letter is a word.
That's true.
But it sounds more impressive. It sounds more impressive. I took out one letter.
Yeah.
Versus I took out one word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Tomatoes. Pizza. Pizzeria.
So I don't know how else you pronounce pizza.
Oh well. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
Really excited about our conversation today, Monty.
Yeah, you've been on this topic for a little while now. So you've kind of gotten it out there. You're proficient.
Proficient. I got it out there. Did you do that on purpose? Because got it out there.
There might have been a little intent.
Intent in there. Okay.
Because I was aware.
I see you. You were aware. I see where you went right there.
I'm right here.
That's how the connections you're making.
Oh. I thought you meant me like I went somewhere.
Oh no. Oh, whoa. Did go somewhere? Where you at?
No, there's North Bend Bridge. Right near where I live.
Nice.
Hey, let me come back. All right, here we go.
Boom. So cool, man. So cool how you teleport.
But you were saying you love this topic.
Yes. I love this topic because it's a topic that a lot of people can take for granted, including myself. And I always have to check myself. I always get to check myself. And it's a great journey in checking myself with it because it helps me. It empowers me as I am, and we all are, we're instruments, right? So whether we're going to speak on camera or speak on stage or have conversation in a room, we can use it. Or even on this podcast, we can use this tool and we can make a lot of impact with it. And it can serve us really, really well if we use it the right way.
Wow, your suspense is killing me.
You got the you like that build up?
What is this thing?
It is breathe. Breathe. It's the ultimate guide to on-camera presence mastery, Monty.
I like that.
I like what you did right there. That's pretty cool.
On-camera mastery.
On-camera mastery. And, of course, one, that's a cool hook. I love that. That's a cool title, and it draws you in, and it builds curiosity. So I'm like, we keeping that. We got to keep that on there for sure. Absolutely. And I don't want anyone thinking, oh, he's going to talk. They're going to talk about everything under the sun when it comes to camera confidence. We're going to speak specifically to the power of breathe. And that is an acronym, and we're going to talk through that.
I like these acronyms.
You got me fired up about the acronyms, Monty. Got to admit.
Well, it helps us keep we go down the rabbit hole really easy.
Yes.
So acronyms are good talking points. Keep us right on track. Such as the B.
The B.
The B in breathe is for be calm.
Be calm. Right. Be calm when you go live. And I love this because I'm in different arenas. I'm doing, we're doing stuff in the entertainment industry, and I've learned this throughout the years. But being calm when you start, before you start something, is so important because there's so much going on, especially on your worst day when everything comes at you. Tech is not working, your camera's not working, you don't have your outfit ready if you want to look presentable on camera, right? Your microphone's not working, right? All these things can take place, and what happens? You can get stressed out. But the importance of being be calm. It's important. It's essential to exude your confidence and composure. Got to keep that composure, Monty.
I think I like the idea of also being calm when you start so that you can build up.
Mm-hmm.
Versus starting out, if you're going 100 miles an hour when you first start out, or if you're all over the place when you first start out, then you end up becoming more calm, and it kind of has that reverse effect. So you're excited and then you're not. And I think the starting out calm and then getting into your topic gives you a climatic and conclusion format.
Right, right. Now, here's the thing, too. I love the fact that you said that. Now, every audience is going to be different.
Absolutely.
So you have to, I personally love doing that because for me, that in and of itself tells a story. That tells a story where you're going from calm and then you're building up. You might come back down again, and I said, but just correcting myself. And you might want to come across as energetic at the beginning, like even at the beginning of this podcast episode, right? So it's important to read the room. But even before that, you might want to be calm, right?
Yep.
You also might want to be calm. Here's another option. As my wife says, she loves options. You might want to be calm and then get amped up because you got to deliver that energy at the beginning. So it all depends on the room you got to read.
But it does start what you were saying. That's the part you were focusing on, is that before you start, be calm.
Right.
And then by being calm, you can better read the room and better prepare yourself for the proper introduction.
Right. Very true. And that's interesting, Monty, because for me, that it's a process where I might have to take that time and I might have to extend that time, meaning there's a lot going on, got to start the live or whatever soon. And I got to keep that mentality with me going into going live. So meaning I might be that way 10 minutes before I go live, or I might be that way the whole time. Within that 10 minutes, be calm. And even as I start, be calm. It's interesting. You got to feel it out.
Right. Right. But I think the key there is that being calm so that you can figure it out. That's kind of what you were saying there. It's like you have tech problems, you have all this stuff coming in at you, and you can easily become overwhelmed and forget some of your, it's like, even when you have, oh, I know I have step 1, 2, and 3. But if you have all the stuff coming in, you're like, oh no, now I don't have enough time to do 1, 2, and 3. I just did 1 and 2, or I have to skip 1 and do 2 and 3, or, oh, I forgot to do my list. I got to start right now. So
right.
that when everything's coming at you, being calm. Maybe you don't have tech problems. Maybe you're just in a natural calm state, so you don't even have to think about it.
Right.
But I still think that concept is there. It's like, hey, if you're going to have a intentional good delivery.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that just because someone doesn't go through those steps that they can't have a good delivery. I mean, there are people that come out fully energized and 4 hours later are still just pouring it out. But you need to be aware if you're that type of a person,
Right.
or if you have it in you at that time.
Right. Right. And this is a good starting point for you. This is a good tool for you. And to be intentional, to figure it out. What's going to work best for me?
Uh-oh. And he had a big freeze. Well, we were somewhat prepared for this because we assumed that I'm still on
See,
air
Monty.
live. Oh, I hear him. I heard him for a moment. Nope, he's froze up. So we'll see if he can get his tech issues, if he can be calm and get his tech issues wrapped up. He might even have to turn it off and back on again, and back out and jump back in. But we know that the technology will keep going, and that'll be all right. So how about I'll just carry on until Carl jumps back in and can join us again here. So breathing, be calm. Let's move on to the R, which is relax. You want to relax your mind and body. Find a comfortable position and release tension in your body. Clear your mind of any distractions and focus on delivering your message with clarity and purpose. Now, Carl would be able to expand on this with all sorts of great knowledge. I will just have to kind of wing it till he comes back in. Part of the being calm is like the physical side of it. You want to relax your mind too. Make sure that you're not going over the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, oh, I got to remember this. Ooh, here he is.
Back.
He's back. See, I knew if we just were patient, just kept things rolling, moved
Kept
along
calm.
a little bit, that he would jump back in and all would be good. So we moved
Kept
on a little bit. I started talking about relax. We were on the B. Now we're on the R. Relax. The little relax your mind and body. I mentioned, the be calm was kind of that physical. We were talking about physical. Relax seems like it's mental. And
Right.
John jumped in again. Hey, John. Just in time to catch Carl coming back in too.
Just in time. It's funny. It's funny. I have backup internet too, and I had it last week. I got to set that up. That's okay though. I'm gonna stay calm.
Just be calm.
Great example. So relax. So you were on relax. Relax your mind and body, huh?
Yeah. What insight does Carl have for us?
I love that one because, just in any arena, when I'm about to go live or go on stage and speak on stage or sing or perform on stage, that the calmness and the breathing to prepare me beforehand, it helps me to relax my body. So I might do a couple of cues for myself. I mean, this one's not really relaxing, but I'll do something like this. I'm rubbing my hands together, finding cues for myself because I'm calm, right? I'm calm. Finding cues for myself that I can use to help me to stay focused, to help me to get the task accomplished that's at hand. So I'm breathing, I'm calm, I'm having cues for myself to help me to deliver what I need to deliver. Excuse me. So that's one thing that I like to use, and it helps me to clear my mind. It's a pattern disruptor. So that's helpful for me when I'm about to present because I have something important to present, and so do you have something important to present.
Indeed. So you're describing that, and I was visualizing getting in front of the camera. You've gone through. I'm trying to be calm, but I'm tense. I'm calm, but I'm still tense. So just relax.
Right.
If you have that moment, if you can say, oh, I got to be on 30 seconds. Okay. Just that one breath. I mean, and they tell you to do it in threes. Just one breath alone. Even so, I got 5 seconds to take that deep breath. That's I feel more relaxed, literally.
Right.
Just from taking 2 breaths shortly apart.
Right. And like you mentioned before, for some people it's different. I know people who might want to do a dance, or some kind of movement to get themselves ready. Of course, you got to read the room, like we mentioned. Want to be clear with that. But this is one of my favorite things to do as far as the relaxation, because it reminds me mentally that I have control of what I'm going to say. I have control of what I'm going to communicate. And I have control of creating that environment that I'm about to create in that room, because those words are coming from you. So it's important that you create that environment. So being relaxed, relaxing your body, staying calm helps you to focus before you create that amazing thing that you're about to create. Whether it's prepared, hopefully it's prepared. And sometimes though you have to speak off the cuff. That's okay. But even if it's prepared, this is a whole next. You're going to a whole next level. You're presenting the real thing. So it's important to be relaxed.
I like it. Like I was saying before you pop back in, I was like, well, Carl's going to be able to give us better insight on this, but let me wing it.
No, you got it in you. You know, you do a great job. I mean, you're killing the game.
Yeah, I'm learning and practicing and getting there. So I have that immediate experience, and you have a vast, diverse experience. So I don't have any live experience as far as in-person live. Live recording. That's kind of live streaming, but not live in person.
Right.
And so you have all the but as far as explaining right here and right now, that's my perspective is from this little angle, and then Carl has all these other things. So just like that.
John says it helps. John's been in my arena in I was part of a few bands, and John was, helping out with, just with production in the back end of things with the performing. So he knows, he sees it.
Right.
John, I'm pretty sure you have insight as well. Oh yeah. The third one, Monty. I love this one. Oh, and I'm doing it right now. As you're preparing for what I'm about to say. E, engage. It's important to engage. I love that. It's one of my favorite things to do.
And if you're a Star Trek Next Generation fan, it's one of your favorite words.
Oh, engage.
That's what Captain Picard says every time they get ready to go somewhere. Engage.
I love that movie, by the way. Well, I've seen the newer versions.
Yep. Gotta love the Star Trek world. Oh, but yes, engage. And that's that thing. It's kind of that. It's a verb. Yeah. It is that. Engage. Right. And that's what you were doing. You were getting ready. You were engaging with us.
Engage. Yes. It's important. It encourages, you encourage interaction and participation. You can do that as well. So even me putting my hands up, and I might put my hands up and say, engage. And I might say, Monty, what does engage mean to you? That's me interacting and asking questions. That's how you make it. And even when we ask John, it's helpful to be able to include. Everyone wants to be included, right?
That's a great thing. Engaging is another way of including your audience.
Right.
And so that comes into the third part about get found, be seen, and be remembered.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. You will be remembered.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. You will be remembered in a positive way.
Let's hope that. Let's hope for that. Yes. I hope so. Absolutely. And you can make it fun. You can make it fun. Or if you're telling a story, you might make it in a way where people have to reflect on their lives, or reflect on the situation or the story that you're telling. It's different emotions you can play around with. Not playing with people's feelings, but you could be an artist. You could be creative. Am I doing it right? Creative. You could be creative with talking about the emotion and engaging people with that. That's an example.
Yeah, there's tons of ways of engaging. You don't have to carry on a conversation to be engaged with somebody, especially in a streaming situation. It's like, it's really hard. We have John jumped in there, and we could have a couple people jump in, but it's not the same as if you're with an audience or one-on-one with somebody, or even 1-on-3 with somebody in an interview or anything.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's one of my favorite things, you know, you know why it's one of my favorite things, Monty? I love what it does. It helps people to feel included. It helps people to feel remembered. And that's going to make people remember what you have to present to them. That's going to help involve them. And it's funny, I used to say, there are a lot of things that I can't do.
Uh-oh.
But I tell you what, I can be a party, make you feel welcome. All right. I can make you feel welcome. So that's why I love that whole idea of just engaging people, because it makes them feel included. And that's what you want when you communicate on camera or live.
Well, that's how our whole collaboration started, is you were engaging in the community, and then I responded, and then you engaged with me. And that built up a rapport that got me excited. And so I engaged back, and here we are.
That's right. Oh, John. John says, Carl, I think you meant to say, you always made it fun. Oh, yeah. Easy times, the times when we were exhausted.
Carl's always smiling.
Gotta do it. You know, it's a blessing to smile, man. You never know what you're going to do with the other person on the other end of the camera. Keep it smiling. Keep it going. Keep that joy going. That's the way you engage.
That's a positive engagement method.
Positive engagement. Of course, I could be angry.
You could
engage that way too.
and might touch base a little bit on that. In the right circumstance, even that can be an engagement, a productive engagement. And I'll give a little story. Right. I worked at a retail tire store, and did car repairs. And I had a lady come in, and she was upset. And she was basically, you said blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. What I want, and you blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, I'm very sorry. Could I blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's just like, I don't know how many times she interrupted me every time I tried to appease her a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I finally just kind of figured out that this lady, that's how she communicates, is direct and angry.
Yeah. And
so the next time that I had that little moment to pipe in, I said, listen, you weren't blah, 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 blah. And I went right back at her. And she said, oh, okay, I understand. So it was just that reading that, and I didn't realize it. I didn't actually read the situation. I'm reflecting now. But if I could have read the situation, I might have been able to communicate faster by adopting her communication style earlier. But I can, it just depends on the topic. I can imagine if you were presenting a topic where it was like, I'm giving you this information about this thing you didn't know about, and it's going to make you upset, and you're going to want to do something about it because this company is spilling chemicals in your water, whatever, something, it's like, you didn't know that. And so maybe that's I come out and I'm all upset because of this thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Different engagement. Yeah. It's like, oh, you want to always be positive. You always want to be cheerful and happy. It's like, well, there's the 100% rule. The 100% rule says there's always an exception, even to the 100% rule.
I think about that.
I know. I love that. It makes everyone think. But then when you really think about it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense.
It makes sense. Huh? Yeah, there you go.
There's that exception. There were sometimes maybe you do need to come across and engage people on a aggressive or angry type of a level, but not at them.
Right.
We're talking about it has a negative connotation, but we're directing it towards a target.
Right. And it's making a point. Absolutely. And the beauty of it, Monty, is we're, as humans, that's what we do. And it's creative. We can use it in a creative way. So I think about that. And sadness, you might, telling your story about something that happened to you. Stories are important when, whether you're influencing, whether you're trying to sell a product or a service, whether you're just putting out content. Stories are so important, just like you told that story. As you told it very passionately, by the way.
Keeping people engaged.
Keeping people
okay. And you just said emotion. I think that part of engagement is emotional.
Absolutely.
If not more than part. I think a significant part of being engaging is emotion. Which emotion? We were just describing that. It's like normally we think about positive, happy type of emotion, but you could sadness. You engage and build a rapport with that sadness thing.
Can I show you another way?
Yeah.
Lips get chapped. Put some chapstick on. That's kind of funny. That's another way.
I love it.
Right on camera.
Right on camera. Oh, and that comes back to the, being comfortable, calm, relaxed, being yourself.
Being yourself. That helps. That opens up the gateway for authenticity. Ooh.
And engagement.
That's right.
Opens up that doorway. So it's like, hey, I'm authentic. I'm me. Here's what I got. And that encourages people to engage with you.
That's right. You could also ask questions. You could also respond to comments. We kind of talked about that a little bit. You could also do skits.
You could challenge.
And when I mention skits, I'm talking about grabbing people from the audience. Even if you virtually need to do it. You can virtually do that too. If you're on a Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're on StreamYard, we engaged John.
Right.
He responded. Absolutely. Those are all ways. And it's important, think about that as you're presenting on camera. What are some ways you can engage your audience? And what's the next one, Monty? A.
Adjust your pace. Because
I love that you do that. That's cool.
If you're just like all kinds of excited and too excited, you're going along and you just go through all your topics, and then at the very end, you're like, oh my gosh, I've only been here 20 minutes. I got to fill in 40 more minutes of time. I'll just start my presentation over and do it again.
Right.
Probably not a good idea.
Not a great idea. Not a great idea. When you're adjusting your pace, it helps you to remember that you're on a journey and you're taking your audience on a journey. When you take a journey, you're not just going fast pace. You're at the stop sign or the traffic lights. You might need to go to the bathroom, stop off at a Walmart or whatever store you have around your area, your location.
You might see something that is so incredible, you got to slow down. Oh my goodness, I've never seen that before.
Exactly. You might see a Dunkin' Donuts and you want to get a nice coffee.
Time for a pit stop.
Absolutely. You want to adjust your pace. And what I love about that is, I love that you mentioned that, one can go fast and fast and fast, and it doesn't give your audience the time to pick up and retain what you want to say in the message you're trying to give them. But if you slow down a little bit, it gives them the opportunity to take in your message. And it gives them the opportunity to think about their own thinking. That's important as well. I'm a huge fan of that, because I don't want you to sit and listen to something that I'm saying and I don't give you that moment to think about what you're thinking about. Even if you have 30 seconds to think about it, it gives you a moment, because that helps you to retain what the message I want to give ultimately.
There's a moment for engagement too.
That's right.
They can think about it and then they could potentially respond if that's the scenario you're in. Again, you got to read your audience, read your scenario, and know if that's the right move. And then also, you can go too slow. You can go too slow and people can get bored.
Right.
Or you might not be able to cover everything because you went too slow.
Right. And then you might end up going fast at the end because you haven't been there.
Right. And so, again, reading your audience, though, because maybe you need to slow down because they need to absorb more. They need to have that 30 seconds to ponder and think, or maybe they need that engagement. They need to ask a question. And maybe you don't get to your last topic because it was more important to expand on something that you were engaged in your audience rather than blowing past it to get through all of your other stuff. And then you're trying to go through so fast that they didn't get the full value of it anyway.
Right. Right. So that is important, Monty. Love that one. Love that one. Emphasizing key points.
Yeah, the
That's
pace
important.
isn't a set thing. It's not like, okay, for this presentation, I'm going to be at a 3.4 beat. No. Sometimes you got to quicken up that pace a little bit because you're a little more exciting portion of your story or more important information you want to emphasize on.
Right.
Or maybe you want to emphasize on that by slowing down a little bit.
Right.
To make that point.
Oh, yeah. And I love that as far as human condition, I love that about us as humans, as far as pacing. I relate that to even in being in the entertainment industry, whether I'm singing or dancing, I intentionally go slow at times. Because when I go slow, it helps people to enjoy a specific movement or a specific note more. And I could also put feeling into it. I go faster too. And there's a different type of feeling that I can give when I go faster when I'm singing or dancing. When I go slower, though, there's a soulfulness that I bring to people. I realized that with my performance, because I had to, as far as an artist, it's good to assess yourself and you figure out what your strengths are so you can work those strengths. It's the same thing with presenting on camera. Let me say that again. It's the same thing with presenting on camera. See what I did right there? See that? Doesn't work every time.
I was going to say it's good contrast too, where you say
Right.
sometimes you're going slower to emphasize something, but you can also be emphasizing something different when you're going faster. And then there's the comparison and the contrast between those two things. It's all part of the presentation.
All part of it.
But
100%.
to help you adjust your pace, breathe. Because breathing is part of your pace. Because if you're amped up and moving and energetic, you're going to be breathing more. If you're relaxing and trying to slow your pace down, you can do that. You can help instill that by breathing slower.
Right. Can I add to that? Take
Please do.
deep breaths. Deep breaths. That's important as well.
Now, there's a whole class on that part about how to breathe. Literally, they're like, and especially, this one as a musician or someone who plays a wind type of instrument, it's like breathe from the lower end, your diaphragm. Don't breathe in with your chest. So there's a lot of things involved with breathing. Then you get into the yogi and the yoga stuff and the yoginis, and they will teach you a specific way to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth and other things. So you can get pretty in deep with that. At this point, with what we're talking about is just oxygen inside your lungs. And that's
get
in
it
the appropriate quantities.
Get that oxygen inside of you.
You can get too much oxygen in your lungs. So when you're breathing, it's like you don't you do that 10 times or so, and you're going to get lightheaded and a tingly nose, and you might end up running off to the emergency room thinking you're dying and find out, oh no, you're just hyperventilating.
And there's a difference with there's definitely a difference. So I'm glad you emphasized that. But there's a power with that, with the breathing. That's one of my favorite things to do. I take that with me all the time. Well, I have to take it with me all the time. They're my lungs.
That's why I made that comment on that one post you had where you're like, you got to breathe when you exercise. I'm like, man, you got to breathe all the time.
All the time. But it's funny. It's interesting too, though, as people, that's a whole other topic, though. We breathe very, very little. A lot of times when the pressure's on, when there's a lot of stress going on, and that works against us so much. So that breathing, so important.
That's interesting. That analogy, just comparing and contrasting with things. It's the same as if you don't eat all day and then you're trying to do something complex that you need to think hard on. It's like, oh, if your body doesn't have fuel, if your body doesn't have oxygen, it makes life more difficult.
Right.
So even though you're breathing, it's like, no, I'm still breathing. I'm not dying. Yeah, but if you're not breathing enough for the situation, then your brain is starved of oxygen and it's not going to perform as well as it could.
Right. Good to know the science. It's good to know the science.
Of course, you can overthink it too, but
That's true. Breathe now. Breathe now. Go. Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to get like that. Hold your presence. Hold on, Monty. Hold it. Hold your presence. So important. So important. Maintaining what do I mean by that? Maintaining strong eye contact. Your presence is important. We talked about presence before as well. People have different definitions.
Hang on, I got to interject a little bit there. I think we skipped a little there.
Really?
We talked about breath. We were on adjust, but then we had to get to take deep breaths, and we kind of started talking about that, but we never actually addressed. We're on the T of breathe now.
The T.
So that was the take deep breaths. We moved on to the oxygen into your brain and that sort of thing. And then you transitioned and I was behind. I just wanted to catch everybody up on the screen.
Got it. Okay, my bad. I got an idea. I need to be more engaging, Monty. I will say the letters. H. I'll be engaging when I say the letter. H is the next one. Hold.
Hold your presence.
I didn't say H.
So here we are. I'm caught up with you, Carl.
You caught up? Okay, good. Whew. All right, I'll be more engaging. So yeah, holding your presence, maintaining that strong eye contact. I'm not talking about strong but strong. You're looking. I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking into the lens. And it's funny, I'm going to do a video on the whole thing too, because a lot of times when people are on Zoom or online in general, they're looking down because their cameras may be at the bottom of their screen. So it looks like this. And I'm going to do a funny video about that. It's going to be cool. But it's challenging because sometimes there's not that level of eye contact. The communication is somewhat broken sometimes, or people have to fight through it subconsciously to receive what you have to say.
Yeah, anything that they think about that isn't on topic. So that, if you're looking down, if you're staring off over here, those are all things that people think about, like, oh, what is he looking at? Why isn't his screen in front of him? Those types of things. They're distracting.
Right.
You're not getting your point across as eloquently or as commandingly as you would like.
Not holding your presence, Monty. Not holding.
You're just kind of juggling it.
Yeah, that's true. Because you're having 2 or 3 conversations at that point. Yes. So holding, good posture. Good posture is important. I was speaking to my son about that earlier today. We had a little coaching session, and having a good posture, because he's gaming too with what he does. So sometimes the temptation is to be hunched over, but to be upbeat. When you hold up like this, when you're up like this with your posture, that automatically gives you more energy when you're communicating on camera, which is really cool. But if you're like this, you can make you feel like you're hungry, or you're tired. You're transferring your energy and emotion towards that other person, towards the audience.
Well, and also when you stand up straight, it improves your ability to breathe.
Connected.
There's that connection. We were talking about how to breathe. Oh, this is one of those connections. It's your not stature. Why is the word escaping me? What do I want? Posture. Thank you. Posture. Good posture.
Stature's pretty cool too, though.
Stature is pretty darn cool.
Now I could be deliberate. I could be intentional and play around with my posture. Monty, it's good to see you. Did you believe what he just said? Or listen up, I got something to tell you. See what I did right there?
Yeah, you could even do the other like, oh man, I can't believe that's the way it worked.
You sound like Droopy,
A
that
little bit.
cartoon character.
Wasn't trying to be, but
It was funny. Yeah,
so holding
Mhm.
presence.
Holding your presence. Holding your presence. Yes.
So I also envision that's promoting the idea of, when you come out, you start out, and then you want to maintain. You don't want to trail off. It's
Right.
like, you be conscious and, oh, okay, I got the eye contact thing. Great. Okay, I've got the posture thing. Okay, great. And then you get into the and you say, yeah, okay. And at the end, you've lost all that. So that's that hold that presence. Figure out where it's
Hold.
at. Keep going.
Hold that presence. Yes. That's so true though, because it's a juggling act. And these are basic tools that we could take for granted. And so that's why it's so easy to lose them just like that. I prepared myself at times in the past. And once that camera came on, I came into that form. Yeah, hey guys. It's great to be here. Roses are red, violets are blue. But yeah, you want to maintain it. So you have to pay attention. You have to be super intentional. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and all these tools that you're putting out here, I don't see them like, oh, you need to go through this list and check mark this off, or else you're not going to do well. It's just if you're feeling some of these things, you can use some of these to help you get past that.
Right.
Now, maybe you are that type of person. Maybe you're one of those detailed persons and you want a checklist, and you're actually going to use it as a checklist.
Right. Go
Nothing
for it.
wrong with that. Just saying that it doesn't have to be done that way. It doesn't.
Have
We're
to be.
not saying each letter, go through each letter. It's like, no, just figure out. Are you feeling stressed? You feeling tense? Be calm. Relax.
Right. Right. And that's good. It's a good exercise for you. I say this, Monty. Great exercise for you because you get a chance to exercise yourself. You get a chance to coach yourself. In that sense, you're helping yourself. You're developing. You can even practice, even with all these letters, these parts of the acronym. You could practice one by one.
Sure. And that I like what you said there. See, I wasn't even thinking about the practice part. I was thinking about putting into play right before you're going to be doing something, before you're presenting. But I like that, where, hey, you don't even have to be presenting. You can just be like, hey, let me just, I know that next week I'm going to be presenting. Let me just go through this thing and record myself. Practice. I'm just going to record myself, but I'm going to go through these steps to overcome the obstacles that I always have, and then do the recording. And then you can play back. You can say, hey, look, that was a lot better because I did these steps. These are the steps that I want to do when I go to the live.
Right. Right. And you're exploring. That's the beauty of it. Like, we're all instruments. That's the beauty, Monty. It's like we're all instruments. We create beautiful music. Let me tell you a story. I was on a movie set one time. I might have told you this before. I was in a movie set and I was watching. Actually, I was looking forward. I was about to choreograph about 500 people, which is crazy. I was like, I never did it before, but here I go. Here I am. I was getting ready. But I looked back and there was an actor. His name was Ken Jeong. He's a phenomenal. He's a brilliant actor. Before I turn around, I'm listening and I'm hearing this person say his lines multiple ways. And he was practicing. I looked around. I looked him back at me. He was practicing his line multiple ways, and he was being creative with it and saying it different ways. And it's like, this dude is like, he's his own show. But the cool thing I realized was all of us have that ability. So I always take that with me. Even if I take one of these letters and I practice it for a week or practice it for 3 minutes, it's going to take me far. I'm going to grow for sure. Guarantee. Especially, I need to pay attention to it, of course. So I learned the power of that. And I take that with me as far as a tool.
Yeah, that practice.
Practice. Yes.
Because you get to experiment then. Because if you're right before, you're not wanting to experiment. You're wanting to line things up right. You're under stress. You're under the ball. Let's go.
Right.
But when you're
Go time.
practicing, that's where you can just, what if I did it this way?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that turned out amazing. Or, whoa,
Right.
I ain't doing that again. Either way,
Right.
it was practice. You learned.
Absolutely.
You grew.
And there's a power in that. And that creates excitement because you're excited about it. You're being more dynamic. You're using another element that you're growing in, and that excites the audience. Even though they can't articulate it, they don't see that specific thing, but they feel it because you create that feeling. That's powerful.
You exude.
Exude. As you hold your presence.
Hold.
And it makes you confident.
There you go. That's what you're all about.
Boom.
Well, so far we have breath. But
That's true.
To be breathe, we got one more thing to do. And I think I'm doing it pretty good.
Are you saying, Carl, all you have right now is breath, but you need to breathe.
You need to eat.
You need to eat. Yeah, you need to eat. That's
You
funny.
need energize. Energize your voice.
Energize. Man, as I think about it, I can't make one of these my favorite. Oh man, they're all good. Gosh, man.
Well,
Energize your
that's the
voice.
thing. All the letters make the word. You can't just have one favorite letter.
You can't. You can't just have one. That's from a commercial. You can't just have one. So this one's interesting, Monty. You know why? Because usually we might say be energized, right? But we're being specific here. We're talking about energize your voice. That's a good one right there. You know, using inflection, you know, tone variation, you know, your voice going higher and lower. You know, I was thinking the other day, you know, it makes your speech more colorful.
Helps you emphasize things.
It helps to emphasize. Oh, John said they're all good.
That's right. They are
all good.
That's
all
why you
good.
can't pick just one.
You can't pick just one.
You can practice on just one.
You can. Absolutely. But absolutely, just, you know, you're going higher and lower. If you're going higher, that has a potential to show someone how excited you are. What? If I use being surprised in my voice, I'm like, are you kidding me? What? And that just adds more color. I could just be excited about what I'm going to say. If I want to bring more authority to what I'm saying, that's the reason to do it, because that's the way it's written. I add to it.
And that's where that guy you were just talking about that was practicing his lines, that's the culmination, I think. You know, it's the delivery. Energizing your voice is tuning your delivery.
Ooh.
That's how from what you were just describing and the story you told before and now into this, that's what just came into my mind. It's like, hey, I need to tune my delivery so that way I emphasize the things that I want to emphasize. Because you can say the same word a bunch of different ways, and the message that you've changed your message, even though it's the same word.
Totally. On so many different levels. Emotionally, the message itself, mentally, absolutely.
Yeah, the result of the message.
The what?
The result of the message.
Result. I thought you said we were going to say soul, but that's a good one too. Soul. The result, the soul of the message.
Yeah, really? Actually. Again, that's that. It's targeting. It's the right medium. Not even that. Just the right message. I don't know. It's hard to put words onto that, but the tone, the inflection, and volume, intensity,
right,
and emotion. Yeah, like you said, emotion.
Yeah,
intensity is not really an emotion.
Intensity?
No, it describes an emotion. It describes your level of emotion.
Good point.
but it's not an emotion unto itself.
Of course, you pick that out. You'll point that out, Monty. That's good. I didn't
Kind of,
think about that.
yeah, I'm kind of on those little detail things
A
on
little
stuff,
detail,
little
a little
nuances of
detail.
things. But it's interesting. I like those, and that make I like the things that make you stop and think, reflect, and then adjust. It's like, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. That means this that I hadn't realized before. So now I'm going to adjust how I move forward to accommodate that. Just that cycle there is growth.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
is the framework of growth.
It's brilliant growth too, because you're in control of it and you realize it and you're taking action on it. And you realize you could do that at any point as whether you're preparing or you are presenting. Sometimes I'll do it on the spot.
So that's just another great example of being aware and having intent.
Right. Exactly.
John liked that too.
Oh,
I'm glad that it wasn't just me.
Right? Ooh, Monty, this is a good one. We're gonna have to do some more with this.
Yeah, like
Each
one of these letters, I think you could turn into a talk.
Right? And the tone variation and the energy, it helps keep your audience engaged and interested. Your voice is the most powerful tool, so use it to captivate your audience. Said that with pause right there, Monty.
You were using that powerful tool.
That powerful tool.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sheesh. Dude, when we get off, I got to tell you about some ideas. This is good.
Awesome. I love it when our talks spark more things.
And
I really love how it all comes together.
Right?
You know, we keep going back to the being aware and having intent with your actions, and you know, those are other words that we've done episodes on, and every time we add a new word in, it just seems to tie back through with everything. And neat little package.
Neat little package. Let's break it down and make it simple, Monty. How about that?
Oh my goodness. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Breathe. It's other than water, it's the basis of life.
But that sounds like a commercial.
I know, right? And in fact, I'll go back and say that again. And it's a powerful tool when you're trying to speak in front of an audience.
Oh, we gotta be serious. Okay, all right.
No, we don't.
That's true. Get it.
Serious is no fun.
Right. Oh man. Woo.
But yeah, that's what, you know, you say breathe and people think about, okay, well, we gotta breathe to stay alive. Yes, you do. But you can also breathe to move forward and to improve and to grow.
Right. Love that. Well put. And I'm just going to say it really quick from the top. Be calm. R, relax your mind. E, engage with your audience. A, adjust your pace. T, take deep breaths. H, hold your presence. E, energize your voice.
But I don't think Carl could energize his voice anymore. If he did, I don't know, there might be fire coming out of his mouth.
My mic will sound distorted. Literally. So I'm trying to hold myself back. That's that part.
That is awesome.
But it's one of the keys to your success in presenting on camera. It helps you to be authentic. It helps you to engage with the audience and be confident. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, peeps and peoples, whomever you are, everyone else in between, use these tools to your advantage.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. And Monty, I have a question. If people wanted to find you online and say, this guy Monty, he's on fire. I love his energy. I love what he does. And I need some help with my website. Please, someone help me. Someone help me. Where can they go to find all things Monty?
All things Monty. MontyArmstrong.com.
Boom.
That's the culmination of all the different things I'm working on. You can scroll right down to the bottom. It's a contact form. You can ask me your question.
Love it. So accommodating, Monty. Very impressive.
I try to keep it easy. Keep it easy.
Keep it easy.
If someone wanted to take this breathe tool and combine it with some other tools to gain even more confidence on camera and in front of audiences, and anytime they're presenting to anybody, anywhere, they want a little more help with that. Where could they get some more help with that?
They could breathe on over. Just kidding. They could go. They could go on over to carlaleen.com. I'll be more than happy to support you and help you on your breathing journey. Oh, man.
That's good. That is good stuff.
John says, will do.
All right.
Another episode of Get Found,
Be Seen.
Yeah. Talk to you soon, everyone.
Have a good one.
Peace out.